check in with my people, see how everyone's doing out there. It's been a tough year. Kind of dove into myself and some victim type ways this year. I'll be honest. I think it was ever since Scooby passed away. Uh, Me and him were hanging out a lot, like really reconnecting on on a good level, just a healthy friend level. And when he passed away, I really felt like I wanted to come back to this kind of human experience, and I put down, researching and really struggling to be, almost perfect with my diet and such. For a long time, I was doing vegan and vegetarian and then pescatarian. For about 4.5 years, I ate almost zero meat. And for 2 years, I didn't eat animal products at all. And, I was really on kind of like a quest, which I really do believe I had the most mental clarity of my entire life while I was doing the vegan lifestyle. It was one of the many benefits to not eating animal products. But so that just brings me back to where we're at today. So really COVID, everything else, a lot of challenges this year. Really had to face a lot of my kind of inner demons, things I never really talked about, shared with anybody, kind of really came up pretty hard for me this year. And, things all the way back to childhood type shit. So, yeah, it was really whatever. I mean, everyone had a pretty tough year. I can say that pretty confidently. I feel like I'm getting back to that open-minded situation where, just having this human experience isn't working for me right now. So many different challenges and situations coming up recently where we're giving other people too much power over us, really. I mean, the reality of anything is if someone's going to force every single person to do one specific task, you got to really question everything about that task. And when that task includes, injecting yourself with, chemical, synthetic ingredients, however you want to label it, heavy metals, preservatives, you name it, there's a list of questionable characteristics and pretty questionable reactions, whether it be allergies or autism to autoimmune diseases, mental diseases, through the roof. I mean, we can only, say the probabilities are, injecting yourself yearly with a lot of toxic chemicals, unfortunately. I mean, it's not an all organic shot. We're organic beings. We're not synthetic beings. We're not supposed to be, utilizing a lot of these modern medicine techniques to allegedly keep us safe. We're going down the wrong road. And I just feel extremely bad for children because they don't always have the capability to do the research that's needed. Adults, we do, and we really need to look into things from a very open-minded perspective. It's not to state that everyone in the medical field is bad, terrible people. Never, ever would I ever say that. Not once. Trusting doctors, they are good people. Nurses, good people. I mean, they're doing things from the right intentions. But modern medicine doesn't always tell the truth. Let's be realistic. If this was about saving everyone's lives and protecting everyone, then they would put out mandates for healthy food. They would make it mandatory to go to the gym 3 times a week. They would make it mandatory to consume a certain amount of veggies. They would be, monitoring our pee and our our excrements and seeing where we're deficient and mandating us to prioritize whatever mineral compounds we are deficient in. They would mandate all these things, but they don't. In fact, they don't even remove things like cigarettes, like alcohol, like fast food, especially McDonald's or anything in that realm. I mean, let's be honest. The food additives in itself, highly questionable. Whatever realm you want to put it. This isn't conspiracy theories, it's conspiracy facts. They just don't come out and tell you how bad it is, because then their products don't sell. They're obviously saving money for whatever reason, whether it's subsidized ingredients, whether I'm not quite sure how this is efficient for them. Seems the more additives, the more ingredients in a product, the cheaper it is. Very strange mechanics, if you ask me. So the overall aspect is these people don't care. The people calling the shots say, I'm not going to even label anyone's names. You know the doctors that have been talking to us. You know the former computer executives that are preaching to us what's good for our health and our safety. I mean, we can go down the list of keynotes and key people that come out at the right times, like presidential campaigns and such. This was really a year of deception, unfortunately. They have us, really right where they want us, where people are fighting each other to help the system. The same system that still sells you cigarettes and alcohol and all these other fucking toxic things, even down to soap. A lot of the soaps that we utilize are terrible for us. Look at the ingredients. You won't even be able to read 70% of them, I guaranteed. Unless you are conscious, which I applaud you. Wonderful. It's totally through the entire system. I mean, if the media is this bad, can you even imagine how bad our history books are? Let's not even break that fucking wall open, because, things like mud flood. You should look into that. 1800s. Some drastic changes took place that we were never told about. That's a whole nother bracket of information. But today, I just wanted to kind of bring it back and just hit on something that has really led me to a level of, I'm going to sound silly and just call it, mental clarity, mental success, I guess we'll say. Being able to get past the old thought process, which for a long time was, bigger, stronger, faster, eat like a barbarian, train like a barbarian, and be ready for any type of conflict, which is a whole nother situation, growing up. Certain things happen, and I was really stuck into a protection mode for a long time. And I knew once I got big enough that I was not going to just let anybody, 8 years old, I almost got kidnapped. That was a pretty traumatic experience where my senses basically got heightened. The awareness factor and the protection realm, especially, was heightened. And that, again, happened at a young age, you know. Had some, abusive moments growing up where, yeah, we don't need to break all that into a positive keynote message, but I was capable of transitioning my mind frame, which I was heavily conditioned into really being comfortable with anger and being in protection mode. I mean, when you're in fear, you're in protection mode. I didn't know when I felt like I was always going to be attacked. It was happening, too often. So, I really attribute meditation to helping me break past a lot of the energetic cycles that I was really stuck in, like, for a long time. Thankfully, well, I shouldn't even say it like that. When I was young, fought hard, and I'm just happy I was able to stay out of prison and not completely harm anybody to, any real terrible state. But I pulled myself out of that fire before that ever happened. And meditation is a big reason why I've been able to stay on track. Something called binaural beats really has helped amplify and keep me on track with the meditation. It just helps guide you past the mental chatter. Sitting in complete silence, it is nice, refreshing. I like to do that more out in nature. But most times when I'm meditating at home, I utilize binaural beats, and I use 432 hertz is my favorite. It naturally resonates with your heart chakra, proven by science through cymatic testing, which is testing of water droplets under different frequencies. Frequencies are utilized, and the vibration of the frequency makes the water droplet resonate at a certain pattern. So, certain frequencies will make it look like, a beautiful symmetrical pattern, similar to, a snowflake or something in that realm, a very geometric, perfect shape, if you will. So, 432 tends to resonate with the, your heart gives off an electromagnetic frequency, electromagnetic pulse. Some people, call it the aura. You can train yourself, or they have certain cameras that I can actually pick up on that energy. Most people are not capable of seeing it, but some empathic people are capable of feeling it, which I very much am empathic in a lot of ways, but mainly that emotional field. I really connect with people, to a level that is hard to explain. But the overall aspect is it does help me a lot of times feel out situations, get closer to people. I naturally want to help people because the better the energy around me, the better my energy is going to be, and that's good for everybody, And so I was thinking, this is my first real lengthy video that I've done in a while, but I'm really, please give me some feedback. Let me know how you guys feel about it, because I'm really thinking about starting a podcast. I'm not an expert in any one category, but I'm, knowledgeable and highly aware of a lot of different kind of modalities and natural pathic choices, that can help. That's all we can really do is look for, progress, not perfection. There is no real easy button ever in the world. If you're, you know, we can go down the list, but just because you have, say $1 billion doesn't guarantee that you are going to be happy and fulfilled in your life. So a lot of times we kind of get hung up in the wrong realms. We put too much focus in one area, which can get us through, and that's what most people try to do, is just survive and get through their days. And making money gives a sense of allows a certain level of freedom, I should say, and that's important. Don't get me wrong, but it's not everything. You know what I mean? So, if you have $1 billion, but you have terrible health, autoimmune, or lung disease, you name it, you go down the list, some type of cancer, you're not going to be very happy. So trying to transition the body into working with itself in the best possible way is really the only thing I strive for. So a lot of that is just a different level of honesty with yourself, and you make what's most important to you take place in your life. It's just what happens. So when you raise your level of awareness, you start to understand, just breathing techniques in itself can set you apart from, gaining, a better conscious control of your life by tenfold, just by implementing one new, whatever modality, practice, awareness. Because one thing that always stuck out in my head, which I always found very, very interesting, is everyone talks about how important healthy eating is, how important the food, organic, blah 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 blah. There's all different situations to what the human body needs, more so than what you desire or anything else. What the actual body needs. And so we talk so much about food, we talk so much about how important water is, drinking the right things, drinking at the right times. The temperature of water actually makes a big difference. Actually drinking warmer or room temperature water is much better for you, especially in the morning, because when you're drinking ice cold water especially, or very cold water in the morning, it's actually putting your body and your cells in a state of shock, because your body is naturally sitting around 94 degrees or so. That's skin temperature, internal, maybe a little bit hotter, we'll say, between 90 and 100 degrees. I don't want to get too technical, but in that realm. And when you are drinking water that's, say, 50 degrees in temperature, it's actually putting your organs, your blood, different cells that it's trying to nourish, and in a state of shock, and it actually causes a little bit of distress. It's nothing super serious to the extent where you could pass away or anything, but I'm just talking about utilizing your body's energy the most efficiently as you can. That's just what we're that's where we're gonna feel like we're running our best and most optimum. So that's one little trick, is room temperature water. So brings me back to my point, the most important part of life, which is something that you do every few seconds, is breathe. And no one ever talks about how important your breathing is, the way we do it, where we're flowing the air, the energy into, through the nose, out through the mouth, this, that. There's so many different types of, breath work out there, breath of fire, different yoga techniques, you name it. But all that is actually doing is allowing your energy to basically be the most efficient through your nervous system as you possibly can. So I was gonna just go through a couple minutes, a little bit of a lengthy video, but I appreciate it if you're still watching. A little new to being really open and honest with the camera. I try to live a less public lifestyle, but I feel like it's pretty important, and today seems to be a pretty big day numerically. We're allegedly hitting, today was the shortest day, allegedly, and the sun was out for the least amount of time all year. They had the Great Conjunction, where, Saturn and Jupiter were highly visible in the sky. We can discuss, different things with that, but anytime you have an alignment of energy, it's in direct alignment to our experience. I think there's always, an amplification of, some magnitude, even a lot with, the different energy that the moon gives off. Because I truly believe that the sun and the moon give off its own light. We can go down a list of reasons, but it's actually proven. We can go through so many different variables, but it's been proven that the light of the moon is actually colder than the shade of the moon. So it's the exact opposite as the sun. Sun, obviously, when you're in the shade, it's cooler. When you're in the sun, it's hotter. At night, the moon is cooler, the moonlight is cooler, and the moon shade is a bit hotter. So that's very interesting, and you can see it with, this different full moons and whatever else that we've had. That motherfucker is bright as fuck. Okay? So it's always was a bit silly to me that, we were taught that it's a reflection of the sun. You saw even if you want to say the moon landing was real, which is, I have my own theories with that, but if you want to say that it's real, then you got to stick by your word of that entire video is real, all of it. And you saw what they were jumping around on, a bunch of fucking dusty fucking rocks. I don't know if you ever been to the beach, but is the beach or, out in Colorado or fucking anywhere that you've ever been to, when the sun's hitting the ground, is that like a fucking mirror? Is that blaring? You can't even look at the ground ever? Like, no, not at all. And you watch those movies, that ground on the moon was not a mirror-esque, shiny, whatever type of stone. Let's be realistic. Allegedly, moon's very far away, 284,000 miles away to be exact, and we're getting this reflection like it's right next to us. It's very close, much closer than what we've been told, I believe. But that's open for discussion. Regardless of your views on that, I think I'll share real quickly kind of how I start off with meditation. And for somebody that, hasn't really ever truly experienced it or really gave it a shot. In a minute. Oh. So, it's my beautiful Xena memorial my sister got me. Zine Bean. If anybody really knows me, you remember Zine Bean. She was my fur child. So, just throwing that out there. Oh yeah. Shoulder still locking up on me. I've had about enough of it, but so we alleviate all the stresses, the Zine Bean, the shoulder. What I like to do, and what I've helped some people over time get into meditation. So to just get a framework of how to have your body, I like to kind of sit back, pull your chin right up. This is going to help stretch your spine. You want to basically keep your spine as straight as you can, which is going to first off take pressure off the lower back, give you a longer, comfortable seating situation. Number one, but what it's also doing is aligning the energy throughout your spine. So when you do that, you can really, I've had some, actual mystical experiences, which is called Kundalini awakening. At the time that I did that, I had not done any reading, spiritual books, any knowledge other than the binaural beats at that point, and I was also utilizing yoga. I'm sure I had changed the diet at that point also, but what I'm trying to say is I had no expectations of having a mystical experience whatsoever. I was not even aware that that was possible, and I would have been a complete naysayer back in the day also. I would have called anybody out on bullshit, but yeah, it's tough to do that to anybody, especially when you have the experience for yourself. It brings you past the, how can I say, just closed-minded avenues when you haven't had the actual experience. I think that's tough for everybody, because you've been brought down so many paths to get us. Scientists have kind of minimized the mysticism to parts of life that we can experience. But when you're led to believe that none of it's possible, a lot of people shut themselves off completely from it ever being possible. Because really, words, we'll just break the wall down, fuck it. Because, it's called etymology, and words literally cast a spell. That's why it's called spelling. The frequency, the vibration, the tone, the delivery of words is everything. And I think a lot of people confuse, I don't want to say confused, but they don't realize just how important our speech and our words truly are. So I did mention etymology, it's study of the origin of words, and when you really break different words down, it really tells you what it means. Like woman, womb, man. Okay, a man with a womb is a woman. All right, history, his story. All right, the winner of wars created our history books, created our banking system, created all of the educational aspects of our upbringing, including our parents, because they were also more or less programmed, I hate to say, but, Little Planet planned it. We can go down the list. Astronaut. Excuse me, that's always a funny one for me. Airplane. I don't know how many times you've been in a airplane and felt the nose dip to contend with the curvature, but I'll tell you that it doesn't happen. But that's a whole nother story, whole nother concept. But yeah, etymology is really interesting. I'm just gonna throw certain things out there today just to get the ball rolling, because I'm tired of being silent. I feel like now more than ever, it's tough to truly connect to people, because we're not getting out as often. Restaurants, it feels like you're in prison now. They have plexiglass up in front of the bartenders, sometimes in front of each other. Everything's very weird right now, and I feel like if I don't ever show people who I truly am, then feel like a little bit of a failure. I think there's a lot of things that are interesting in life that should be shared, and hopefully it can pull people out of their own way, because when you start to learn new attributes of life, a lot of the seriousness that we've been hyped up and programmed to be very fearful and to give up our freedoms in the hopes of security. With the lack of security, we now have the lack of privacy, and now we're being literally regulated and masked. Can you imagine what it's doing to a child right now, wearing a mask all the time, never seeing another human's facial expressions, having that quick laugh or smile, or capable of recognizing your own friends and people or family members out in public now? Like, if you're out there, you could walk by your own grandfather because you're both masked up. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous if you really think about it. So, yeah, I'm kind of just shooting from the hip, kind of just airing things out right now. I'm feeling like really good, very positive overall. Just expressing myself, because again, it's been a wild year for me, and yeah. So I'll break it back down to meditating, and we'll give that a few minutes. So I like to sit down, align the spine, bring the neck up quickly just to get alignment. You can keep the chin down to about shoulder height. Just, the more aligned, the better. So as I breathe in, I like to feel like I'm pulling the air in, basically like my belly button. So I'm pulling the air in. So what I mean by that is pull your stomach inward towards the spine. So this is like a really good trick for me, because it kind of makes you really, how can I say it, aware of the digestive tract, because as you're pulling it in, if you have, inflammation or some extra weight on you, you're gonna feel that, and it makes you really, more compelled to shed that inflammation. Most people are just inflamed. It's not even actually fat. You have, 16 or 14 feet, whatever it is, long small intestine. Another, I think, 8 foot long large intestine. Don't quote me on that. The numbers might be off, but you have a lot going on in that digestive tract. I guarantee you that. And we're eating a lot of things that we're not truly meant to eat all the time. Back in the day, yeah, they might have ate meat back when they were hunting and foraging, but the overall attribute was they were hunting for their food every day. They were hunting for that meat. So that in itself is a lot of hard work and very physical. And you also understand how important these animals are. And you treat them properly as a source of life and keeping you and your family alive, So unless you're truly capable of killing, cleaning, gutting an animal every day, mind you, but at least once, minimum, unless you've done that, you shouldn't ever defend eating meat. To be honest, it's kind of a fucking cowardice situation. And that's the thing. We've traded comfortability for individuality, I guess we'll say. We're really, we're in a bad way when it comes to diet, and that's what is causing so many health issues. That's a big part of it. We're causing ourselves to have toxic systems. They're pumping out more fear, which toxifies our systems. stress levels, cortisol levels, so on and so forth, is very, very capable of destroying your immune system. Very capable. That in itself, just the stress. Never mind the food and the water. I hope you got a filter of some nature at minimum. Hopefully it's a charcoal filter and you're getting the sodium fluoride out. Make sure you look that up. Calcium fluoride, sodium fluoride, two very, very different things. One is found in well water. The calcium found in well water is natural, isn't that harmful for you. Sodium fluoride is found in rat poison, in antidepressants, and if you spill it on the ground, a literal hazmat team has to come and clean that up. I know a guy through some people who he works at the water plant, and he is literally the person who adds in the bag of sodium fluoride to the water. He's told to do so. It's literally a skull and crossbones on the actual bag. And I can send a picture for verification if need be, but that's the truth of it. So water, food, all the fear propaganda, and I really believe that the cell phones and the Wi-Fi, the 5G specifically, is very much damaging our cells. We go back to the cymatics, the different ways that frequencies resonate in the human body. Certain frequencies, like music, used to be a tone to 432 hertz. People like Bob Marley, John Lennon, all the doo-wop music, all the artists prior, Prince, all these guys were very, very highly aware that these frequencies made a big difference. So music was always a tone to 432, like I said, resonates with the heart, naturally elevates mood, can literally heal people, so on and so forth. And they changed it, especially in the 70s, they really pushed it, 80s, forget about it, and so on and so forth. They basically have weaponized music because they've created 440 hertz is now the musical frequency. And if you look, the cymatic pattern left by 440 hertz is pure chaos, broken glass. They are literally disrupting ourselves with silent weapons. And I hate to even say it like that, but with 5G, they have weaponized these cell phone towers and Wi-Fi's and everything else. It's all around us. Why do you think COVID's not going away? Why do you think we always get sick? Like, when they really have these towers, as many as they need, which God only knows. I have no idea how these towers are going up so fast. Seems like they literally go up overnight. All those towers on the side of the highway. I don't want to get into that too much, but it's that's like the scariest thing for me. What's worse than being attacked silently? Our human body experiences a very small percentage of the electromagnetic spectrum around us. You know what I mean? Like, you can't see microwaves, but they're heating up your food, which I hope you don't use it, but that's terrible. So, 5G and the microwaves are a very close match, and they can send out pulses with these Wi-Fi's, with those towers. They can target, they can do a lot of things. Like, this is 2020, this isn't some far-fetched situation. Like, we're literally paying for our own demise. And that's pretty fucked up when you really think about it. And we're all a product, even myself. I'm recording this on my cell phone. I am utilizing a Faraday cage hat. It's a material. My friend has an RF meter that I utilize, and the material does work. It's pretty amazing, actually. But yeah, the reality, I'm not wearing this because I think they're reading my mind or blah blah blah. But I can tell you that it does affect your mental state, your energy, fucking your motivation. I mean, when your cells are bouncing around, doing a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing, being disrupted, then overall, how can I say it? You're wasting a lot of energy trying to calm down your own network of cells and your nervous system. We're electrical beings. How would how would a frequency not have the capabilities of altering your being? Like, of course it does. And of course, they're very intelligent people. Like, yeah, they could have it running at a certain, say, whatever. I don't want to plagiarize it too much, but whatever the frequency range they're utilizing, I forget offhand what it is, but they can manipulate, they can send pulses out, they can do a lot of things. So don't put it on the side burner and act like it's a conspiracy. There's been hundreds, literally, possibly thousands of scientists, doctors, you name it, that have come out very, very nervous about this 5G. So I am by far not alone on this. I just hope more people can become aware. So why don't we get to the meditation part? That'd be cool. So again, I wasn't ready. I was talking. I mean, what do you want from me? It's like a little therapy session, I guess we'll say. Little life coaching, little mind frame awareness building, heart to heart, that hopefully I can bring up some type of information that might help somebody. That's all I can really ask for. Really enjoy having meaningful conversations. Just these days you don't get to see too many people, and yeah, there's a lot going on. So yeah, hopefully this can help somebody, and they can break past any type of barrier that's holding them back. So meditation, I got 432 hertz on, my favorite binaural pattern. Chin level with the shoulders, spine is straight. I'm pulling my belly button into my spine, as best as you can. And I like to do that actually both on the inhale and the exhale. For the inhale, we'll start off, we'll kick it to a medium gear. We'll start off with 7-second breathing. So 7-second breathing pattern, you're going to inhale 7 seconds, then you're going to hold it for a full second, and then exhale through the mouth for 7 seconds, and really push all of that air out. So what I like to do is, as I'm breathing in, nice, slow, calm, paced breathing, and what I like to do is really picture that, air is energy. I can't stress that enough. Air is not just oxygen. Air is not just a chemical pattern. Air is quite literally energy. Scientists back, early 1900s and prior to, used to call it the ether. And the ether was, 0 point energy, radiant energy, however you want to classify it. Free energy does exist. That is definitely not a conspiracy. That is very much a scientific fact, but we have been suppressed quite drastically. So that's a whole nother story, topic. So this ether energy is what, epigenetics ties in with, so you can actually heal yourself. Okay? When you have different injuries, different illnesses, so on and so forth, you can literally build yourself back up on a cellular level utilizing that ether energy, which is basically shown, a million times over to be correct, authentic, and true, is